Okay guys, so today we're going to be doing our second review. This is the Canik TP9SFElite, and I currently have it broken down. I had started the video and then had an error with the video, so I'm just going to start from here. I'll go back into a little bit. So the Canik is something that a lot of people still are unfamiliar with. You talk to a 9mm guy, you know, someone who owns Glocks and maybe SIGs or one or the other, has owned Rugers, you know, maybe familiar with like a Beretta or possibly a Walther or something, you know, more familiar household names. They might still not know a lot about the Canik. So that's what the purpose of this video is, to educate people a little more maybe who want to know something about the Canik. So this is the compact TP9SFElite. They also make the TP9SFElite SC, so that would be the subcompact. And I don't have personal experience with that one. I've heard good things. And with this one, I've owned this one for maybe 6 months-ish or so now. And I've probably got close to 1,000 rounds through it. And I'll go into the functions, and then I'll tell you a little bit, well, in the structure of the gun, and then I'll tell you a little bit about you know, my experience with the gun and maybe some things that I had go wrong at first, some issues that worked themselves out. So to begin our video, this has a polymer frame, has ambidextrous slide release. You'll see that here and here. Only one-sided mag release, but that can be switched to be either side, so that's an ambidextrous side release as well. Very light polymer frame. I think it has a 4.19, if I'm not imagining that. I believe it's a 4.19-inch barrel. I've had good experience with this barrel. I believe the difference in this gun and the TP9SF and the TP9, the more basic Canik models, is that this is a little bit better barrel maybe. And then even I think with the TP9 SFX, I believe it is, has like a marksman's barrel or a competition barrel, so has maybe even a little bit better barrel in it. But this one has a really good feed ramp. You can see that there if I can get it to focus on it. Has a really good feed ramp on it, and I've not had a lot of feeding issues at all. So with the slide, you have a solid, I believe it's a steel slide, pretty weighty slide, pretty hefty slide. But I kind of like that. It takes some of the recoil out, especially with a smaller frame gun. Because this gun, you can see, which I have large hands, but this gun, the butt doesn't even really come all the way down to the bottom of my hand. My hand nearly completely covers this gun. So it is kind of small, but the weight of this slide helps reduce the recoil. So we'll put it back together here. I need to put the barrel in first. So the barrel just slides in there. Recoil spring right on top. And voila, we're put back together. You just have to line your notches up, pop that back in there. And to break it down, I will show you this. Since you missed that part of the video, you just pull your slide slightly back, and you have these little tabs on both sides. So you'll use your thumb and your pointer finger to pull that down, let the slide forward, pull the trigger, and the slide just pops right off. So, and you would want to safety check, of course, before pulling the trigger. I'll show you that the chamber is empty there. So we're good on that. One thing that anyone who has owned a Canik will tell you, the slides are decent, or the sights rather are decent. They're Warren tactical sights, just basic metal sights on the back with a little bit of a U shape there. It takes a little bit of adjusting too for me to get this pictured. just because it's more U-shaped than it is square, or like, you know, I'm used to like 2 fiber optics or something of that nature. This one is U-shaped, so that's a little odd, but it's a good sight. And then you have the fiber optic on the front, have the red fiber optic. And I think that's an upgrade from the TP9SF or the TP9, either one, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I think that's correct. You can check that for yourself. I believe they both have the white dot on the front and something similar on the back. So not a fiber optic sight, but this one is. I think at MSRP somewhere around 400. The TP9SF, I believe, is like 250, 300-ish. So a little bit cheaper, but there are some upgrades with this gun. And one thing, as I was saying, that anyone who owns a Canik will tell you, this trigger is flat out amazing. For an out-of-the-box trigger, it's honestly, to me, in my personal opinion, it's hard to beat, because, you know, the thing I hear people preach about Glocks all the time is, well, they work. They're tried and true. They just go off. They don't jam. They work. And I won't even begin to argue that, because I've personally never had a malfunction with a Glock. I've not been around Glocks that much, so if you have, don't crucify me for saying that, but I've never had many issues, especially with a 9mm with a Glock. They're very dependable, very proven. But as far as just being fun to shoot, to me, this one blows any 9mm I've ever shot out of the water. You know, with a Glock, a lot of the times a guy will buy a Glock and then upgrade the trigger. Or you might buy a SIG and upgrade the trigger. SIG has a decent trigger, but Glock's pretty chunky. And it all depends on what model you buy. I understand that. You know, you're not going to buy a Ruger or something of that nature for the trigger. Something that would be in a similar price range for this, you're not going to buy it for the trigger. This, I feel perfectly comfortable in telling you to buy this for the trigger, if nothing else. So I'll show you, and we are unloaded. I'll press check one more time. So there's the uptake. And when you first hit some resistance, it's not the wall. There's just a little bit of slowdown period there. You can tell by watching my finger. There's the uptake initially, and then right there is the wall. So if you want to do it all in one motion, there's the wall. Not a whole lot of uptake. I'm not saying it couldn't be better, but not a whole lot of uptake. And then the wall is so crisp. That break is so clean and crisp. And then the reset is phenomenal. That was it. That was the reset, in case you missed that, because it's easy to miss. So I'll try to move my finger out of the way so you can see this one more time. There's the break. Okay. Here's the reset. That's literally it. So, break, reset. So really smooth shooting gun. I will include some clips of myself shooting this gun. You do have a loaded chamber indicator up here, and then here as well. You have the red dot showing you that it's loaded. And so that is pretty much all on that. These are the magazines that come with it. I bought this as a 1 series, so it actually only had 1 magazine. And these are Metgar, I can show you that there. Maybe I've got it turned wrong. Metgar Canik magazines, so these are the ones that Canik endorses. With the 1 series, it's the same gun. You just get 1 of everything you might get 2 of in a different package, in the typical package, and it's a little bit cheaper. And these are 15 round mags. Pretty good magazines. They're metal mags, light, and I've not had a lot of issue out of these magazines. So to get into what did happen at first, I think the first round I fired through this, maybe it stovepiped. And then a couple times after that, I might have had 5 to 10-ish stovepipes. Never had any feeding issues or just failing to eject entirely. Never had that happen. but I did have a couple of stovepipes. And I noticed the more, I did leave this gun locked back. So I put it in the box and left it locked back like that for a couple of days. I read somewhere online that would help. And then, or maybe I think I watched that in a different review. I can't remember who that is to give them the credit. But I think I watched another review and it said that if you left the slide lock back, it had helped them. And so I did that, and it did seem to help. And then I also paid attention when I was oiling and cleaning this gun to the slide rail underneath. So if if you're cleaning this weapon, if you're having this type of issue, you might want to, I think I put a little bit of oil on, like some CLP on a toothbrush and just dabbed, and not a lot, but just dabbed, ran it around this slide rail on both sides. With any new gun, it's possible, I don't care what anyone says, it's possible with a $500 or $600 gun to have some issues, just like it would be with this $300 to $400 gun. And I'm not saying it's as consistent yet as a Glock. I know they've not been tried and true, so I won't even go there. But you risk having some issues out of a brand new gun, no matter what the name on it is. And that was all this one is. It all revolved, every issue I've ever had out of this gun just revolved around it being new. And the more rounds I put through it, I think I've probably fired around 500 rounds through it without any malfunction, any stovepipe, any kind of feeding issue, nothing like that. I don't think I've ever had a feeding issue out of it that I can recall. And like I said, I've probably got like 1,000 rounds through it. So it's a really great gun, really great buy for the money. And quite honestly, in my opinion, it's a really great buy for any money. It's not just a budget gun. This is a good gun. So if you want something that's fun to shoot, it does pack, because it's a compact, it does pack a little bit of a punch to the hand. But nothing incredible at all, nothing really remarkable. To me, it's still very fun to shoot. I could shoot this all day and not feel it a bit. If you had a lady shooting it, or a child, or anyone with smaller hands, or a little less strong, they might feel it more. But I had no issue. I have no issue shooting this gun continuously. And I can honestly say it's some of the most fun I've ever had with the 9mm. So I think it is safe to say, with 500 flawless rounds to it, I think it's safe to say this is a good buy. So go pick you one up, the TP9SFElite by Canik from Turkey. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more reviews like this one. Thanks.